When the governor of Nevada starts sounding alarm bells about population loss, you know something has gone terribly wrong. What if I told you the city once promising affordable homes, endless sunshine, and tax-free living is now hemorrhaging families faster than it can replace them? Las Vegas sold millions on the American dream, but in 2025, that dream is crumbling. Housing costs are exploding, schools are struggling, and the community feeling that once defined this city, it's vanishing. Today, we're revealing 10 reasons families are fleeing Sin City, why state officials are finally starting to panic. The final reason might be the most alarming one of all. Number 10. Housing prices jumping out of control. Picture this. A family moves to Las Vegas in 2015 and buys a modest 3-bedroom home for around $150,000. They tell their friends back in California how affordable it all feels. Fast forward to 2025, and that same house now costs $480,000 or more. That's more than triple the price in just a decade. The reality is brutal. The median home price in Las Vegas has exploded past what most local families can afford. To comfortably buy a home here today, you need an annual income north of $115,000. But the median household income in Clark County sits around $72,000. That math doesn't work. And it's not just buyers feeling the squeeze. Renters are getting crushed too. A basic 2-bedroom apartment that cost $1,200 a few years ago now runs closer to $2,000. More than half of Nevada renters are considered cost-burdened, spending over a third of their income just to keep a roof overhead. Families who moved here chasing affordability now find themselves priced out of the very neighborhoods they helped build. And when your paycheck can't keep pace with your mortgage, the only option left is to leave. But rising prices are only the beginning. The real shock waits inside the classrooms. Number 9. Declining school performance. Ask any parent why they're packing up and leaving Las Vegas, and you'll hear the same frustrated sigh before they answer. The schools. Clark County School District is one of the largest in America, serving more than 300,000 students. On paper, that sounds impressive. In practice, it means overcrowded classrooms, underfunded programs, and teachers stretched so thin they can barely give individual attention. The numbers tell a painful story. Math proficiency across the district sits at just 27%. Reading proficiency hovers around 41%. Both figures trail behind state and national averages. Parents moving from states like Colorado or Massachusetts are often shocked by the contrast. They find larger class sizes, fewer resources, and growing concerns over safety and discipline. So what's the alternative? Private schools. But quality? Private education in Las Vegas runs $15,000 to $25,000 per child per year. For a family with 2 kids, that's up to $50,000 annually, on top of a $3,000 monthly mortgage. For middle-class families, that math simply doesn't add up. When parents feel their children's futures are at stake, they don't negotiate. They pack their bags. And if struggling schools are pushing families toward the exit, what's waiting for them in the job market might seal the deal. Number 8. Vanishing middle class. Jobs Las Vegas has always been a city of opportunity, or at least that's what the brochures promised. But in 2025, the reality looks very different for families trying to build stable careers. The city's economy still leans heavily on tourism, hospitality, and entertainment. Those industries provide over 300,000 jobs, but the average annual earnings sit around $40,000. That's barely enough to cover a modest apartment, let alone a mortgage and childcare. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Nevada currently holds the second highest unemployment rate in the entire nation, hovering around 5.7%. That's not a number you want to see when you're raising a family. Even worse, the nature of hospitality work makes long-term planning nearly impossible. Schedules shift constantly. Benefits are often lacking. And when a recession hits or tourism dips, layoffs come fast. We saw it during the pandemic when Las Vegas experienced one of the sharpest unemployment spikes in the country, peaking near 34%. Families who survived that chaos haven't forgotten. They know how fragile their livelihoods can be. And for those looking for something more stable, the options remain limited. Tech and healthcare are growing, but they haven't yet scaled enough to absorb the workforce. For many families, the dream of building generational wealth in Vegas feels increasingly out of reach. But even if you find a good job, there's another problem quietly building beneath the surface, one that affects every commute, every hospital visit, and every drop of water from your tap. Number 7. Infrastructure growing too slowly. Las Vegas has always been a city that defies logic, a glittering metropolis rising from the desert, growing faster than almost anywhere else in America. But that growth is catching up with it. In the year 2000, Clark County had about 1.3 million residents. Today, it's approaching 3 million, and the infrastructure hasn't kept pace. Roads are the most visible symptom. The upkeep of Nevada's highways now costs the state around $10 billion annually. Commuters sit in traffic that gets worse every year, watching their quality of life drain away one red light at a time. The ambitious Interstate 15 and Tropicana project is underway, but it's a band-aid on a wound that keeps growing. Hospitals are feeling the strain too. Wait times have climbed as the population outpaces available medical facilities. Utilities face similar pressure. Water supply remains a constant concern as Lake Mead hovers near historic lows. For longtime residents, the frustration is personal. They remember when roads were manageable and services felt accessible. Now every trip to the grocery store or doctor's office reminds them that the city they knew is buckling under its own success. And when infrastructure can't keep up, everyday life becomes harder. But if traffic and crowded hospitals sound frustrating, wait until you see what's happening to the cost of groceries, utilities, and everything else families need to survive. Number 6. Higher everyday costs. Most people who move to Las Vegas budget for a mortgage or rent, maybe even those brutal summer power bills. But what blindsides them are the everyday costs that stack up month after month until they quietly drain your bank account. Let's start with utilities. Energy bills in Las Vegas run about 9 to 14% higher than the national average. When summer temperatures soar past 115 degrees, running the air conditioner isn't optional, it's survival. Families report monthly electric bills climbing to $400, $500, even $700 during peak months. That's an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a year just to stay cool. Groceries aren't sparing wallets either. Food prices in Las Vegas run about 4% above the national average. A gallon of milk, a dozen eggs, basic produce. It all costs more here than in most American cities. Transportation adds another layer. Gas prices hover around $4 per gallon, roughly 15% above the national average. And the desert isn't kind to vehicles. Tires crack, dashboards fade, air conditioners run constantly. Many locals budget an extra $1,000 to $1.5 thousand annually just for vehicle maintenance. When you add it all up, Las Vegas's reputation as an affordable alternative starts to crumble. Families arrive expecting relief and find themselves bleeding money through 1,000 small cuts. And speaking of survival, there's one challenge that strikes at something even more primal than your wallet. If breakdowns like this matter to you, hit subscribe so you stay ahead of the stories most people never hear. Number 5. Extreme heat getting worse. For many newcomers to Las Vegas, the breaking point isn't money, it's the weather. Picture arriving in March. It's a perfect 75 degrees. The desert sky stretches crystal blue and you're thinking, why didn't I move here sooner? Then July arrives. Suddenly you step outside and it feels like opening the door to an oven set at 115 degrees. The sidewalk burns through your shoes. Your car's steering wheel feels like molten metal. Your kids can't even play outside without risking heat stroke. This isn't just uncomfortable, it's deadly. In 2024, Clark County recorded over 520 heat-related deaths. That's the highest number on record. The summer shattered temperature records, hitting an all-time high of 120 degrees in July. Las Vegas endured more than 100 days of triple-digit heat and 7 consecutive days above 115 degrees. For families with young children, the relentless heat turns daily life into a logistical nightmare. Parks sit empty during daylight hours. Outdoor activities become impossible. Even walking the dog requires strategic planning around sunrise or sunset, and the trend is only getting worse. Scientists warn that extreme heat days will continue to increase, making summers longer and more brutal. For families weighing their future, the question becomes unavoidable. What will Las Vegas look like in 20 years? And is this really where we want to raise our kids? But even if you can handle the heat, another quiet transformation is changing the very fabric of Las Vegas neighborhoods. Number 4. Rise in short-term rentals. There was a time when Las Vegas neighborhoods felt like, well, neighborhoods. Families knew their neighbors. Kids rode bikes down familiar streets. Block parties weren't rare. But in 2025, something feels different. Walk through certain parts of the valley now and you'll notice it. Houses that used to hold families are now revolving doors of weekend tourists. Suitcases rolling across driveways at all hours. Strangers coming and going with no connection to the community. Short-term rentals have exploded across Las Vegas. Estimates suggest more than 10,000 unlicensed vacation properties operate throughout Clark County, many in residential areas never designed for constant turnover. The regulations exist, but enforcement lags behind reality. Fines can reach $1,000 per day, yet illegal listings keep popping up faster than officials can shut them down. For families living next door, it's exhausting. Noise complaints spike. Parking disappears. The sense of safety erodes when you never know who's sleeping next door. And here's the cruel irony. These same properties pull housing inventory off the market, pushing home prices even higher for families trying to buy. What was supposed to be a neighborhood becomes a hotel zone. The small-town warmth that once defined Vegas communities is being replaced by transient anonymity. But if shifting neighborhoods feel unsettling, the next issue strikes at something even more fundamental. Number 3. Growing concerns about public safety. Las Vegas has always had an edge. It's part of the city's identity. But in recent years, that edge has started to feel sharper. According to the most recent data, Las Vegas's crime rate sits nearly 48% above the national average. Property crimes like vehicle break-ins and burglaries hit everyday residents hard, and violent crime rates also exceed national benchmarks. Now, context matters. Crime isn't evenly distributed. Neighborhoods like Henderson and Summerlin remain relatively safe, while areas downtown and in central Las Vegas see higher concentrations of incidents. And there's encouraging news. In 2025, overall crime is down compared to the prior year. Homicides have dropped more than 30%, but for families, perception often outweighs statistics. Parents worry about school violence. Residents report feeling uneasy in certain parts of town after dark. Social media amplifies every incident, spreading anxiety faster than facts. The psychological toll is real. When families no longer feel safe walking their own streets, they start looking elsewhere. Peace of mind isn't a luxury, it's a necessity. And no tax savings or sunny weather can replace the feeling of security. But if safety concerns chip away at confidence, the next reason strikes at the very identity of what Las Vegas has become. Number 2. Entertainment economy fatigue. Las Vegas built its legend on a simple promise. This city belongs to everyone. Whether you had $20 or $20,000, there was something here for you. Cheap buffets, affordable shows, a sense that magic was accessible. But in 2025, that promise feels broken. Families say the city no longer feels designed for residents. It feels designed for tourists, and the difference shows everywhere. Resort fees that once felt like minor annoyances have ballooned to $40, $50, even $60 per night. Parking at strip properties now costs up to $40 daily. A meal that used to run $20 can easily hit $50 or more. Even off the strip, the tourist-focused economy spills into everyday life. Policies favor visitors over locals. New developments cater to convention crowds, not neighborhood families. The very infrastructure of the city seems to prioritize people passing through rather than people staying. For longtime residents, it stings. They remember a Las Vegas that balanced glamour with accessibility. A city where locals got deals, where casino hosts knew your name, where community mattered. That version of Vegas feels increasingly like a memory. And when families feel like strangers in their own city, resentment builds. Eventually, it turns into action. They list their homes, they pack their trucks, they leave. But if all these pressures weren't enough, the number one reason families are fleeing hits even deeper. Number one, loss of the old Vegas community feeling. This is the reason that doesn't show up on spreadsheets or make headlines, but it's the one that breaks hearts. Las Vegas is a city built for visitors. 40 million tourists pour through every year, filling hotels and casinos with temporary energy. But that same transient pulse seeps into daily life for residents. Neighbors come and go. Apartments flip tenants annually. Families move in chasing sunshine and tax savings, only to move out once reality sets in. For those trying to build long-term friendships, raise children, or plant roots, it can feel like running on a treadmill that never stops. Many newcomers expect the city's glittering social scene to translate into vibrant local culture. Instead, they find the opposite. Outside of nightlife and casinos, Las Vegas can feel surprisingly isolating. Parents lament the lack of family-friendly traditions compared to other metros. Outdoor lovers have options, but daily life still revolves around an economy built for entertainment, not community. The rapid growth hasn't been matched with the libraries, cultural centers, and neighborhood traditions that knit people together. Without that glue, many residents never feel truly at home. And so after the bills, after the summers, after the struggles with schools and jobs, what finally breaks people is realizing they don't see themselves here long-term. They miss their roots, their networks, their sense of belonging. In the end, Las Vegas offers glitz, but struggles with grounding. And when residents need more than tax breaks and sunshine, they do what the tourists do. They pack up and leave. Governor Lombardo has acknowledged the pressures facing Nevada families. From inflation to housing costs to infrastructure strain, his administration has proposed billions in housing investment and policy reforms. But for thousands of families, those promises arrive too late. The exodus is already underway. What do you think? Can Las Vegas turn things around? Or has the dream faded for good? Drop your thoughts below. And if this video opened your eyes, hit like and subscribe for more real talk about what's really happening in America's cities.